mess ups. I mean, look at Todd Carney. Look at Inglis himself. Look, he did some terrible things, but you got to move on.
Well, he was acquitted, but anyway.
I
Tara, I know you've got a burning issue as well. So
to me, just when the Warriors don't win, it just doesn't feel right.
It doesn't.
That's profound.
Huge.
Tara, what do you want to talk us through?
Well, mid-season transfers.
Yep.
For me, it's a big issue in the regards that it just seems very easy for a player to just change teams. So it just kind of makes the whole point of signing a contract quite pointless. If you can just sign a 2-3 year deal with a team, and you mid-season just go, I don't really want to play for these guys, sign for another team, and there's no penalty to the player. There's no penalty to the team that signed him, or the other way around, vice versa. It doesn't really, there's no incentive to sign players in the off season, which should be the case in sports, especially when there's no trading system set up like the NBA or the NFL.
I think there is penalty to the player. So anyone who gets a mid-season transfer is usually a bit of a journeyman, and they're plugging a gap at a club because they're unhappy at their first club. They'll be on peanuts, and the next contract they get won't be any good. And there might be stuff written into their contract as well. Obviously, we don't know that, but break clauses and that kind of thing. So I don't think it's true that the player doesn't get penalised, but certainly it changes the complexion of the team.
Well, it's also, I guess, from the fans' point of view as well. When you see a player just leave your team, and then next week you see him playing against you, it just doesn't really quite sit right with me.
Good example is Wade McKinnon, going from Warriors to the Tigers. He wasn't just getting game time at the Warriors, and Tigers kind of wanted to.
Nathan Feen, was he?
Well,
The same sort of...
Yeah. I mean, it's the same in the NBA. It is a little weird seeing a player from your team suddenly playing against you in a week or fortnight later, but I don't have a problem with the mid-season trade. I mean, both clubs have to obviously agree to it. The player's got to be into it, so I think it's not like anyone's getting really shafted. Everyone wins sort of thing. But yeah, I know what you mean. It is a little odd.
Have we got the balance right at the moment? So you're allowed transfers in the first half of the year, but not the second. Is that the right point, or would you shift that?
See, I would just say no transfers. Well, if you are going to have transfers, just make it create a window, a transfer window, just like soccer. So just get everything out of the way, and then so teams are just settled.
So would you have a mid-season transfer window like a sort of 2 or 3 weeks?
That's a really good idea.
2-3 weeks.
Do you not think that maybe encourages more mid-season transfers?
I mean, it might do, but at least it just sort of formalises everything. At the moment, it's just a little bit crazy in the sense that in the first half of the season they can transfer whenever they want to whoever they want.
I think you've got a good point there, Tara. I don't like seeing it either. I think it's sort of, whilst I can understand it, I mean, you can't have players that are capable of playing and just not allowed to because they haven't got a club to play for. But I think it does definitely impact on the integrity of the whole season.
It can make it quite exciting as well, though. I like the transfer window idea, and it just kind of spice things up a bit in the middle of the season. It's a very good idea, though.
Well, speaking of transfers and trades, we've got that on our mind, having had 1 week of Dream Team already. Matt, what are your key picks, and what were the big things that happened in the first week?
First of all, I'd just like to say 2 trades this week just isn't going to be enough because the Vertical Smiles are in serious trouble. Wholesale changes are needed. This new scoring system has absolutely caught me off guard. There's some real surprises in the first week. Players that you wouldn't expect to be towards that elite end of the Dream Team scorers in previous years. Tony Williams scored 82 points, which puts him in the top 3 or 4 scorers around. Todd Carney, who was historically a pretty big scorer anyway, also did well. He scored in the 80s. And Sean Johnson got 70 odd.
Did he?
He had a great game. Plenty of tackle busts. I think he set up 3 tries. Got a try himself.
So what are the changes that have meant that these players score a lot more? Like, what is it that they're doing that get them extra points?
So for guys like T-Rex and Johnson, it's I think that they call it a tackle bust or a tackle break. So you get 2 or 3 points every time you essentially beat a man in the tackle. So T-Rex got about 30 odd points from that against the Warriors in the weekend. Mostly that. There's plenty more points for tries and try assists too now. I think you get 8 points for a try instead of 4, and 5 for an assist instead of 2 or 4 or whatever it was last year. But yeah, T-Rex, he'll be the first man I'm looking to bring in this week. Pretty gutted I didn't have him from week 1, to be honest, like yourself, mate. But
Yeah, had T-Rex in there. I probably didn't think about... Because that tackle bust, that was never scored at all under the old system, was it? So that's completely new.
Harrell, I think, will score well when he plays
Harrell will
the
do
game
well.
as well.
So yeah, just big, powerful runners will do a lot better. Because they might not necessarily be good defenders, but...
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off you've got, but when they have a good week, they'll score big.
Burgess had another good game on Monday night as well. Couldn't quite get his team over the line, but scored 60 odd points. Yeah, there's a bit of value out there, but yeah, as I say, 2 trades just isn't going to cut it this week.
Yeah.
I was going to mention the potential of Hayne to score a lot of points.
Hayne could go huge. He's pricey. I think he's about 300k, but there's not many statistical categories that he won't rack up the points, and especially with those tackle breaks and his kicking meters and all sorts of things.
Also, James Maloney, if he fires.
Yeah, he had a quiet game in the weekend in real life and dream team wise, but looked like Sean Johnson was just doing 80% of the
Doing a
play.
bit more,
Even the general play sort of kicking game took over a bit.
Yeah, Jared Haynes actually got an indefinite injury at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what that kind of means really in terms of when you could get him back and get him into your dream team, Tara.
I think they're saying he's a good chance this week.
Oh, really?
Not definite, but yeah, likely to play against the Warriors on Monday night.
Be good to get him out
Tough week first up in dream team, but it's early days.
Very early days. Right, the World Desk.
Yes, the World Desk. There's some big news actually. Very big news. First of all, we'll go to Europe. The Czech Rugby League competition over there is adding 4 new clubs. Hradec, Kralov, Mikulov and Astana Labing. Actually, it's Hradec Kralov, that's actually one name, sorry. So Mikulov, Ustina Labim and Havlicek Brod. So they've been accepted into the comp.
And who's your pick to be successful out of that 4?
Well, these 4 new clubs has meant that there's going to be a 14-team competition this year.
Yeah.
So they're planning on setting up 2 divisions.
What's the league called?
I think it's just called the Czech Rugby League Championship.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's going to be an exciting year with these new teams on the block. And the under 16 and under 19 champs in Jamaica are kicking off today. Calibre High playing Spanish Town. Kingston's playing St George's in the under 16 comps. And Calibre High again in the under 19 semi final against Edith Dalton. And Spanish Town is playing Greater Portmore.
Is that the Taco Pope, Apple Pope brothers?
Oh no, those guys are there.
That's in Johnsonville.
Yeah.
Alright.
So Tara, you were talking up, all pre-show today about some massive news that you had for us.
Yes.
You just-
Let's cut to the chase.
Let's cut to
So
the
the
chase.
first international rugby league feature that ever to be played in the Middle East was played.
Wow,
last
Excellent.
week.
excellent.
This
Yeah.
was an under 18 rugby league game between Lebanon and Saudi Arabia.
Lebanon, of course, famous for Hazem El Masri,
Yep.
who played for them in World Cup.
Yep. So it ended up in a 22-all draw. Which is
Wow.
interesting. However, there's some tragic news attached to this one. The Lebanon halfback Khalid Al Masri was killed in a car crash while celebrating with his family. So
Post-match.
post-match, so after the game, he was
Any relation to Hazard?
I can't confirm that. But yeah, very sad news.
Perhaps the most somber moment we've ever had on Stacks on the Mill.
Yeah. So thoughts go out to the Al Masri family.
Our condolences.
Yeah, but it's good to see the Middle East getting up there with the league. Actually, Lebanon, I think, the only team outside of all the main countries, Australia, New Zealand, etc., with a junior team. So, some countries on the rise.
Saudi Arabia, just throwing it with them.
Yeah, well, got a lot of money. It's a competition if they want it.
Yeah, for young New Zealand players looking to lead warmer climates.
Does anyone know if there's any rugby union in Lebanon? Because it'd be interesting to know about countries where league has developed where there isn't that union background. Because if you think of the major league playing nations, well, it developed as a product of union and has always had that rivalry.
Papua New Guinea,
Yeah, they don't really play union in PNG, do they?
massive league fans.
Yeah, they love it.
That could be a good topic for World Desk in the coming weeks. Maybe a little look at sort of the developing nations and where rugby league numbers are growing the most.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep, I'll write that down in here.
In your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, clarify for listeners.
Oh, actually, just one more thing. Ian Henderson. I don't know if you remember him.
Scotland, wasn't
Yep,
he?
he's been named in the England squad.
Wow.
The mid-season games against the Exile squad.
As someone with Scottish heritage, that is despicable. You sure it's not the Great Britain squad?
No, it's England. Definitely England.
I never liked Henderson, and that confirms all my suspicions.
I was a big Henderson fan.
Oh,
I
God.
rated him. Yeah.
And his facial hair was
It
terrible
was,
as well.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was very kind of Nathan Friend in his kind of like intensity.
It's good, eh?
You need a little
Except
bit.
Friend had a brain and Henderson didn't.
Oh,
Hang on, man. Come on, mate. No.
That's a bit.
It's Scottish.
That's a bit mean.
Yeah, I should ease off.
I've
Ollie
just
Munn.
got an
no.
please, Ollie Munn.
You don't want to say anything?
Well, I just had an interesting statistic, but I'm full of them, so I can hold that into.
No, I want to hear the statistic.
Well, it's actually a serious statistic.
Okay.
And I did some maths, so I went away and did a bit of homework.
Yep.
And I looked at the average winning margin of round one of the NRL in comparison to the average winning margin of round one of Super 15.
Yep.
Was quite interested to see what came out. The NRL came out at 6.875 points.
Gee.
Super 15 actually came out at 4.428.
Really?
So
Whoa.
that's great for both leagues, really, for both
Yeah.
competitions. I mean, it's showing that there's none of these sort of runaway games. I think the big difference being the 18-0 loss the Cowboys had to the Titans. Take
Yeah.
that out of the equation, and that would have really brought that down.
Yeah, I was going to say it was an amazing first round. Really, I can't remember a round that was ever that close right across
Yeah.
the board. 2 golden point games. Then obviously the Roosters with that ridiculous comeback on Monday night.
Amazing game that.
Measure.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
I mean, if that continues, the punters have got to get on 12 and under, don't they? If that's their average margin.
Exactly.
Well, I had for $10, $10 on Souths 1 to 12 Monday night with about 5 minutes to go.
Oh.
It was money in the bank. What do you know?
That must have been tough to take.
That was very tough. Boyd Cordner. Okay.
Oh man, tips for the week.
I thought you were setting up a segue there.
I was, but I felt like I'd already kind of done it.
It's good groundwork from you.
Thanks, man.
Alright, I'm going to run past you my 4 kind of like highlighted games for the weekend, and just like the panel's tips. Tigers versus the Eagles on Friday.
Ooh.
What do you think, Tara?
Are the Tigers at home?
Yeah. Maybe.
That's a good game.
Tigers will win.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say Tigers.
I'll take the Seagulls in that.
Alright.
I'm going to take the Tigers because they only just bet the Sharks, who are obviously in fantastic form. So definitely backing the Tigers for that one.
How good was it seeing Benji Marshall kick the goal and run back to halfway with us? Waving us for good. Alright, Broncos Cowboys, the Queensland Derby. Tara?
Cowboys.
I'll go the Broncos on that one.
Yep.
I'll go the Broncos. Apparently the Cowboys were awful. I read
I watched
somewhere.
the game and their completion rate was about 30 or 40%. It was shocking.
Oh.
I'm going to back the Cowboys. Thurston doesn't like losing. He'll be racking the boys up.
How many of us tipped the Cowboys for the 8? Just out of interest, because that could be a
All of us
blowout.
did, I think.
No, Ollie man. Nostradamus.
Nah. backing on Thurston getting injured. Dogs and the Dragons. What do you think?
It's a